So let's talk about some of the things in the news. How about that? Now, there's been a lot of stuff lately.
Yes.
A lot of stuff, right?
Yes.
And one being the Paula Deen controversy.
Yeah.
Her admitting to using the N-word in the past. Now, this was like 29 years ago when she used the word, or 26, 29 years ago. And I guess she was under oath, and they asked her, have you ever used the word? And she said yes. So it brought up all this controversy.
Yeah.
Now, on one hand, she was honest, and on one hand, she did use it. And a lot of people were using that against her. What do you think?
Well, you know, I really don't feel sorry for her. I see there's a lot of speculation and there's a lot of gossip on what exactly she said. But so I can't really talk about that because I didn't hear what came out of her mouth.
Right.
But what I did hear come out of her mouth when she was being interviewed by somebody, I forget his name, she was saying how, you know, sorry she was. But when you're making an apology, don't point your finger at nobody else, okay? If you're making an apology, stand tall, own it, own what you did, own who you hurt, own it. Don't go pointing your finger at other people because that doesn't make your apology sincere at all or genuine. Like she was like, oh, she was saying in one sentence how she felt bad and she's not a racist, and then she goes and says, well, the young people nowadays, they throw that word around all over the place. It's devastating, devastating. They need to make a change. Don't talk about anybody else. Let's focus on you, okay? She said like, oh, something like, he who is without sin may cast the first stone at me. Basically telling us, well, all you people out there are full of sin. All you guys do things that are wrong. So you can't say that I'm wrong. You don't do that, in my opinion. When you're apologizing and you feel sorry for something, you don't point out other people's flaws and point out all the sins that other people have committed. Focus on you. So I didn't like that too much.
And no apology should have the word but next to it. If you're sorry, you're sorry. There is no but when you're sorry.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Paula Deen was fired using the racial slur. Her show was canceled on the Food Network, and she was dropped by a lot of sponsors.
A lot of endorsements,
yeah. From that. And she's being sued currently for $1.2 million by Lisa Jackson, who was an ex co-worker, former manager at Paula's restaurant in Georgia. And she claims that Paula's brother racially and sexually harassed employees, and she claims that Paula knew and did nothing about it, nothing to stop it. And they also claim other co-workers, other of her employees are also saying that she allowed the white and lighter skinned staff work out front with the customers and made it so that the darker skinned staff stayed in the back for the back behind operations, which is a little familiar to how it was back in the slavery days.
Yeah.
And she was also, and again, I'm not, you know, but she was
and I mean, a lot of this is hearsay. We don't really know.
Yeah, this all is hearsay, so I'm not saying she's a racist or anything, but it was also said that Paula Deen really wanted to have a plantation-style wedding and wanted to orchestrate it.
I've heard that.
She wanted the black men to dress up and serve the white people. And then it said that the interviewer said to her, well, what about the women? And she said, oh, well, they have black women too. And
I think that's odd if you want to set up a wedding.
Right. And then she
like the
said,
slavery days.
Like, kind of like slavery? And Paula Deen was like, yeah, like slavery. That's allegedly what she said.
Yeah. Well, if that is true, that's terrible. Which we don't know, but if it is true, that's terrible.
And again, just to go back to when she was saying how the young people throw the N-word around all the time, when people casually say that word with the A at the end, it's not the same as saying that word with an ER at the end. Like, let's be very clear here.
Absolutely.
I hate when people use the N-word try to justify their actions by saying, oh, well, they call each other that all the time. No, they don't.
Yes.
It's a completely different thing with an A at the end versus an ER at the end.
Yeah, and it's also, you're in a circle
Right.
of people that use that word.
Right.
So I wouldn't recommend, a 50-year-old white woman to start using the word.
If that's not already in her vocabulary.
Absolutely.
A at the end.
Right. So I wouldn't recommend them just starting to pick it up. But it is a part of culture and a part of music and a part of conversation. And so, but I think it's hard for people to understand when they don't live that life.
Right. And I think that it was brought to be used culturally and so casually to take the power out of that word.
Right, right.
But
it's definitely different, that's for sure. Also in the news is that Eliot Spitzer is running? What the? Are you crazy? He's running, huh? So tell us a little bit about that. What do you know?
Well, he's running to be the New York City comptroller. Now, I just have something to say. Do you think that he deserves a second chance? And what constitutes someone to be deserving of a second chance?
Well, I don't know his whole story, but I know that he's had a lot of controversy around
he was involved
his
in a
politics.
huge prostitution ring.
Yeah.
And what's funny, Johnny, is that there's this woman who is known as, her name is Katie Davis. Kristen Davis, pardon me. And she is also known as the Manhattan Madam. And she admits that she provided Spitzer and all his other high-profile colleagues, she provided him with the escorts during that whole scandal. So
And
she actually served prison time in Rikers Island for that.
And didn't he, lost my frame of thought there. Wasn't he speaking against this? He was arresting people or getting people arrested, enforcing laws against prostitution, and then he was doing it himself?
Right.
That's what's amazing to me is, exactly, how much of a hypocrite a lot of these politicians are. Many of them are.
But the crazy thing about this Manhattan Madam, Kristen Davis, she's actually running for New York City comptroller too.
Oh my God.
Which makes it bizarre, which makes this comical.
God.
It's like, is this really happening? Is this a publicity stunt? What is it? But sex sells, everybody. So you know what? They'll probably do good. And there's a lot of people that are willing to give Spitzer a second chance, which is crazy.
Look at how many people love Sarah Palin.
Now, question: do you think now if Obama, if Obama did this and he had a prostitution ring,
if Obama,
do you think he'd get a second chance?
If Obama farted at the wrong time, he would be impeached. So he can't do anything wrong, not even close. If he did that, they would fry him, grill him. Yeah.
So again, I'm sorry to say this, people, and I hate to throw the race card out there, but I believe again, it's about race.